much for your patience. This is quite the turnout. Give yourselves a round of applause. We have had such a great time here. The first time ever that Monopoly Events has been here in Northern Ireland. So Belfast, are you ready for your next panel? Without further ado, please welcome the cast of the Vampire Diaries. Sheila, my goodness. And next up, the gorgeous Candice King. Yes, ma'am. Hey, leather trousers, looking gorgeous. And last but certainly not least, please welcome Michael Trevino. Woo! Also looking gorgeous. Always.
That's it. Sorry, guys. Daniel's there tomorrow. He's here tomorrow. He's a bit busy.
We are so excited to have you guys here. Give it up one more time for your cast of Vampire Diaries. Candice and Michael. I know you guys are so excited for this one. I'll start with you, Michael. How has ComicCon been for you today so far?
The ComicCon's been great.
Yeah, a bit loud though. So they have which is not a bad thing, but a lot of music happening. The energy flowing and going.
Yes. There's so many different things to see here. We've had wrestling going on over here, so...
Yeah, is this a whole nother area? This is a whole nother, corridor.
Who's wrestling?
Yeah, what's...
It is over the top. OTT Wrestling out of Northern Ireland, right over here. Yeah, they've been doing a great job.
Wow.
But now they've paused, so we can talk to you. Lovely.
Well, thank you.
That's very nice.
Very kind. Thank you.
And Candice, how has today been for you?
It's been wonderful. It is so great to hear everyone couldn't be kinder, and so many people. It's their first. Who's first time at ComicCon?
Wow!
That's amazing.
I think this has been such a wonderful time because you guys have all been so kind. Everyone that's come up to the table has been the nicest person. So thank you guys so much for making our experience here just as fun.
That deserves a round of applause. I heard a little bit over there. Oh, go with it. I'm going to ask a few questions myself then. Say hello to Dave, everybody. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
So over me at this point. Dave is your new best friend because he has the microphone. So in a bit, you will get to ask some questions to our lovely cast here. But Michael, I'll start with you. So being a fan of Vampire Diaries, there are so many different iterations of vampires, be it Twilight, Interview with the Vampire, one of my favorites. Before joining the cast, was that something that you had a passion for?
Of the genre. Gosh, was I a fan? Yeah, there's something interesting, right? Because there's so many people that are just so infatuated with the genre of vampires and werewolves and witches and everything. For me, I don't know, I think Interview with the Vampire was probably something that I grew up with or saw that I was a fan of, but I didn't get in on any True Blood or Twilight series.
But you read all the books. You read the Vampire Diaries book.
No. I read the first book.
The first one. Still, I'm impressed.
After I booked the job. After.
Oh, that was research.
A little bit of research, and I wanted to be prepared, and then I was told while I was on the flight to go shoot the pilot that we were not doing anything from the book. We were going to do our own thing. So I was wasting my time.
Just an overachiever.
Just trying too hard.
Just making us all look bad.
Doing the most, Trevino, yes.
There's your homework. Well done. How about you, Candice?
I watched scary movies. I mean, the full circle experience was growing up on Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and and that's obviously within the Kevin Williamson world, who for Vampire Diaries it was a very big deal to be able to work with him. My first what I watched was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. The movie. Yes, the Christy Swanson movie. Yes, which also features Ben Affleck as basketball player number 3 or something. So,
serious?
Breakout role for Ben Affleck.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. You'll learn something new every day. And now he's married to J-Lo. That's how it happens.
He's doing all right for himself.
I was gonna say Buffy the Vampire Slayer too, loved it, but the TV show. So I love Sarah Michelle, clearly a lot of you too. That was my first kind of idea that ooh, vampires are sexy, vampires are cool. And then obviously when the Vampire Diaries came out, it was something that everyone wanted to be a part of because Twilight was so huge too. And yeah, there's something really fun about playing a vampire.
Yeah, there's something sexy about it, for sure. Speaking of sexy, James Marsters is here. And a lot of Buffy the Vampire fans. Have you had a chance to interact with him?
Not yet, but now I will. Maybe I'll make my way over to his table.
It's a really cool crossover. But speaking of guests that we've had here, we have people from so many different genres. Have you had fun interacting with the other actors? You go ahead, Kayla.
Oh, B, yes, of course. I mean, I'm a little biased. I kind of like the Vampire Diaries actors the best. And we also haven't really been able to hang out in a while, so we kind of had our own little crew back there just hanging out and catching up, and it's been lovely.
I think what's been really fascinating coming to conventions over the years is also hearing from a lot of people that we're fortunate enough to meet, like you guys, that you have friends that you've met through conventions and you come to be with each other and also build and meet up with friends all the time. It's a pretty cool thing that you do.
Are we talking about like who else is here at the ComicCon?
What's been going on behind the scenes, Michael?
Are there any Sons of Anarchy fans in here? Okay, it's good. It's good enough for me. But I met Boone in the elevator, and I'm a big fan of that show, and I've never met any of them. So, like you guys, I'm geeking out on the Sons of Anarchy guys that are here because I love that show. It's a great show.
Boone's my new best friend.
He is your new best friend.
Bus.
You sat on the bus?
We sat on the bus here.
I was actually jealous of
that. Best.
He's a smart man. I thought I had an open seat. I was like, maybe he's my buddy. I met him in the elevator. He'll sit by me. Nope. He just sat next to me.
He's my new best friend.
Yeah, he is your best friend.
I get to ride on his Harley. Oh, yeah.
Candice and Boone. Well, we'll get to the fan questions in just a moment. I know you guys have a lot, but final question from me. So have you had any chances to spend in the UK? Have you seen a lot of things? I know when you're traveling and doing these Comic-Cons, you don't get out to see a lot, but have you had any good UK experiences yet?
Last
we had a
night,
great dinner.
Yeah, we had a great dinner.
Well, no, we went
went
to
to
the Garrick
the pub.
Bar. We went to the Garrick Bar, and what was amazing was they had live music. Did they not, Candice?
Yeah, traditional like Irish music playing, and it was just like this jam band in the corner with beers and some snacks, just looking at each other, jamming with each other. It was fantastic.
It was awesome.
Garrick's Bar.
Garrick Bar.
The Garrick
and from
Bar.
there, we made reservations.
Shout out.
They're
Highly
sponsoring this
recommend.
interview, Garrett's Bar.
Yes.
Kayla, have you got a chance to see anything yet?
I just remember flying in on the airplane and looking down and being like, oh my god, it's just as beautiful as I thought it was going to be. It's stunning. So thank you guys for having us here. It's been a pleasure already, and it's been already so short, but we're loving it, so thanks.
It's definitely magical, and let's face it, Belfast, you know how to party, all right? Yeah, you know.
Belfast, for sure.
We have a question right here from this lovely gentleman.
What was your favorite scene to shoot?
Okay, so for me, hands down, my favorite scene to shoot was when Vicky is with Damon and they're high on each other's blood and they're dancing around.
Oh, that
I
was
see a lot of people nodding. That was absolutely my favorite. I was a huge fan of Ian's from Lost, so I remember waking up that morning knowing we were going to shoot those scenes and telling myself, wow, I'm getting paid to do this. This is pretty freaking cool. So.
What just flashed in my head was when I had to be like, everybody just needs to stop kissing me. And I just had to keep making out with dudes. Which with you too.
What? You don't have to be so negative about it.
Well, it's weird.
Gee.
In a steamy, hot,
Save it.
every woman's fantasy kind of way.
Save it. Favorite scene. Look, there are many, but I think for me, my buddy that asked the question, probably any type of fight sequence or any type of werewolf transformation type of scene was fun, just because it just allowed me to do more, I guess. And whenever those scenes were happening, there weren't scenes with dancing and some type of ceremony or whatever ball is going on, because those weren't really, or costume type thing wasn't really my favorite. So any type of fighting scene.
Was it also because you got pizza and cookies after all your transformation scenes?
I would reward myself with that after. When the shirtless scene was done, I could eat the cookies and the pizza. Yes.
Well, now that you brought it up, these, just between friends, we'll just ask this. These saucy, steamy love scenes. First of all, how awkward is it? And secondly, again, just amongst friends, secondly, is there like preparation? Is it like a breath mint situation? Toothbrush in the pocket?
I think I get what Candice was saying earlier. It's not awkward, but Candice and I are actually very good friends, and we hang out. But it is kind of like a brother-sister type of relationship. We're close, and so yeah. After a while, I don't know.
There was literally once where it was like the last scene, and we had to like make out and be in bed together, and we were both dating different people. And they were waiting at dinner because we were supposed to be on a double date, and we were just like, "Come on, let's make out really hard and fast, as fast as possible. We have a reservation to make."
Yeah,
and it was just like, what are we doing? This is so bizarre. But we were buddies, so I feel like I wasn't too concerned about mints. No disrespect. But
and
like
then later on in
first
the later
time
seasons,
smooch.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to make a good first impression, and then after that, I'm like, sorry, I'm gonna eat some Doritos and a burger.
All off the table.
Did you guys ever try to like have bad breath for each other? Because
I did.
You guys are so funny and your friendship's so great that I feel like maybe that could have happened.
No, I know I didn't. And then if you did, I never caught it. It was fine.
Oh, thanks. It wasn't an act of choice. I think just more like laziness on my part.
Got it.
Sure.
Out of love.
Yeah.
Kayla's here with the deep questions. I love it so much. We've got a question here in the middle.
Hi. This one is mostly for Candice, but all of you can answer. For Caroline's character, would you rather have Klaus, Dieter, or Stefan?
What would your answer be?
Klaus.
But he was such a meanie pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the accent.
Screw that guy.
I always liked the slow burn of Caroline and Stefan because as a TV junkie myself, I love a slow burn on a TV show. But I get it. I know a lot of people like the Claroline, as it's called. But I adored working with both actors, so that's try to keep it fair.
That's a very political answer.
Thank you. I
very
did my
much.
best. You're going to anger someone,
Very sick.
Political talking.
Very good thing. We've got a question here in the middle.
This is for everyone, but if you could switch characters with anyone, who would you rather be?
Never mind my question.
So early on, that was terrible. But it was so fun to come back every time to see everyone and selfishly like just be with my friends. And advice I'd give to someone who's acting is if it only join the business if you feel like you cannot live without it and it's something you have to do because it's hard, hands down, super hard. So go into it knowing that, and if you go in with that mindset, I think you will be successful.
Yeah, I feel like my storyline just ended on Legacies, which is crazy after 13 years. And so it was really nice to kind of step back into Caroline's shoes and say goodbye for the last time. I was very happy. And then as far as advice being acting, I just also that it's a business, it's a job and it's incredible and you can have all the passion in the world for it, but also recognizing that like it doesn't determine your self-worth. It's like lead with your heart and I guess not with your ego, which is the mantra. Maybe I'll put that on a coffee mug I can start drinking out of every morning, but I don't know. And now please start talking so that I can stop talking.
I think for anybody that wants to get in this business, it's like anything else. I think you just want to train, study, and work your ass off to just be the best performer that you can be. And just stay committed to that. So just continue to train and train because you can never stop learning or learning more. So just train.
Great question. Let's give him a round of applause, by the way. Best of luck to you in your acting career. Another question.
Hi. My question is for everyone. I'm just wondering, what's your favorite memory, like on set, like for anybody on the cast, like pranks or anything?
So many memories, but I answered. Well, I always say this, but I think Because on Vampire Diaries, we had so many, like, it was the A storyline, B storyline, C storyline, so we didn't always necessarily always be in scenes together. So when we did have scenes together, I think those were my favorite, most fun, because we'd always be messing around the whole time. It would take a long time to get those scenes done because we would just all be distracted having a good time, because it would be rare that 5 or 6 of us would be in one scene together. So for me, I think my favorite memories was like actually working in scenes with everybody at the same time. Those are always fun days for me.
I concur. I concur. Yeah, there was. I mean, 8 years is a very long time, and there were a lot of funny moments. There's a lot of late nights, early mornings. I'm trying to think.
When we were younger in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think what was exactly what you're saying, when we all got to be in a scene together, which was also bizarre, because on what it was usually either like school dances or like funerals. Like those were the scenes. So it was either we all had to go and feel really ridiculous because we all had to like learn a dance and dance in front of each other, or we all had to like dress in black and cry in front of each other. So that's interesting and a weird thing to do.
It's a vampire show, right? So most of the scenes take place at night. So a lot of times you're up all night long with these people doing these exact same thing over and over and over again. So you get a little bit delirious and you get a little crazy. And so you kind of have these awesome moments with each other where you're delirious and crazy and everyone's laughing. And I think those moments are really special. And there were so many of those on this show.
Who was the most fun to work with behind the scenes, like on set?
These two were the best. They're so funny and fun, and I think just from the very beginning, we were all friends from the very beginning. From the moment I met Candice on the airplane on the way over, and we were instant friends. And then Trevino, like the next day, you showed up, and it's just been like ever since we all were together. It's just been really fun, off-set and on-set.
I agree. That was very sweet to say, because it's true. And even to this day, like we're all very close and in each other's lives, and you know, we're getting older, so it's beautiful to see everybody, you know, doing what they're doing. Yeah, it's great.
It definitely instant camaraderie. And what was also interesting is when we filmed the pilot, we filmed in Vancouver. And so there was another movie filming there at the time. I don't know, it's pretty obscure. It's called Twilight. I don't know. But we were all staying at the same hotel. So there was this very bizarre thing of like the Twilight crew and the Vampire Diaries crew. And then like everyone's down at the same bars and you're just like, it was very interesting. So we were all immediately, I mean, we went on a road trip together during the pilot to go to like a ski mountain and had like, we were immediately bonded, and that just resonated throughout the entirety of filming and even today.
It's wild, that crossover. To think of you guys hanging out with the Twilight people. That's unheard of.
One of somebody from the Wolfpack. Yeah, somebody, yeah.
Any question here?
Hi there.
We are just wondering, who was the least favourite to work with?
Just between us, who do you hate?
The Crow. The Crow was miserable, and yes, and didn't make it past episode 4 because it just flew off in like a warehouse like this, and we were all waiting on the Crow. Being a crow diva.
Crow diva, for sure. That's a great answer. I mean, honestly, most everyone is really fun and good. Everyone has their bad days, right? I don't think it's a specific individual. It would just be one person that's like grumpy and everyone would be like, okay, they're going through something, give them a break for a minute. But for the most part, everyone was really great. And I think because the show was such a huge success from the beginning, everyone all came up together and it just kept being like, wow, this is so much fun every day.
Did you ever work with the real wolves?
One time, but they were too expensive, so we stopped using them.
Did you ever have to work with Stuffy? Stuffy was a real wolf skin that would be operated, but like it was like a puppet, and you had to be really scared of Stuffy.
No, but
Stuffy was also someone I did not enjoy working with. Being scared at someone just like shoving a puppet of like a real wolf in my face. With,
Who
like,
named this creature Stuffy? Because that's the least scary name I can think of.
Can we get you, Caroline, to say, seriously?
Seriously, no.
Love it.
We've got more questions. Thank you, Dave.
What was actually in the blood bags that you drank from?
Good question. There were so many different iterations.
One in the beginning, I can speak for the beginning, when Vicky turned into a vampire and all of that, it was like half like Hershey's chocolate and half water, and it was just extremely sweet. And no, it was like that liquid Hershey's chocolate, and it was so sweet, and you have to hold it in your mouth and hold it until it's supposed to come out, and it was, I mean, you would think chocolate would be amazing to have. It was terrible. It was horrible.
Oh,
I don't
so then we
remember
went
that.
through a phase of, you know those like smoothie drinks? Like the naked
acai bowls?
Yes, it's like an acai, like raspberry, naked smoothie drink. That was blood for a little bit that we had to drink. And then there was, sorry, I feel like I'm like yelling. I will calm down. And then there was like syrup, like Caro syrup. It's like a clear syrup that they would dye red. There was just like a sugar bomb too. But I can't believe they gave you a Hershey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Season 1.
The
They were
Hershey
still
business.
learning.
I guess that was a for sure, season 1 thing. I don't.
Did you ever drink blood? No.
No, but I remember there being capsules.
Oh, I never did a capsule.
Yeah, there was capsules that you could just chew into and then it kind of explode in your mouth and then you're good.
It was gross.
Yeah, it's bad.
It looked better than it tasted.
More questions in the back?
So, other than your own characters, whose characters' final scenes did you find the most emotional?
Is the question what character we found most emotional? Yeah.
It's hard to choose. Hard to choose. I think it was all emotional. I think I block a lot of that out because I just don't like crying in front of a lot of people. I get very, I'm sweaty even thinking about it.
No, but I remember when your character cried in the funeral scene, and that I really felt for, when your mom died. And I remember talking to you about that too. Like that was a really lovely moment in the show, for sure. So I'll go with that. That's my answer.
Yeah, Sheriff Forbes, R.I.P.
Right.
Yeah, that was very sad. R.I.P.
I'll go with their answers. Yeah.
Very sad.
And a question here in the front.
What was the funniest scene in the film?
I had I don't. No, I would. I'm going the other way. No, there was certain sequences with Zach where whenever we had a fight sequence, something would always go wrong, and there'd be multiple times where he'd accidentally hit me, or I would accidentally hit him. I remember one time I slipped and just completely kneed him right in his private parts. It was, just multiple things like that. I think trying to, get the work done, but just being way too distracted. No, didn't want to.
I think one of the weirder ones is there was like Caroline and Stefan where it's like something with the humanity off. It's all been a long time, but then we had to kiss. But we were then feeding off some girl's neck in between us, and then we had to throw her to the side and then kiss again with blood in our mouths. And so because we can't physically just throw a person on the hard ground, there was a mat, like a comfort mat laid out for her. So we had to hold fake blood in our mouth, kiss, and then put our mouths on someone's neck and let the fake blood come out on her neck. And then we had to push her onto a mat and then basically make out on top of her. And then that just was like, this is weird. And I'm so sorry to the girl laying on the ground that we're just spitting our used blood all over her neck and then having to make out again after that. That was one of those days where you're like, how did I get here? Like, what were the choices in my life that got me to this moment?
Maybe she was a super fan and it was the best day of her life. Let's just go with that. That would have been cool, right?
I mean, everyone's into something. No judgment.
No judgment free zone. got questions here in the front.
Right, Nikki, you go first.
Hi, what was your favourite season or episode to film?
I really liked the series finale, the very last episode. I think it was so much fun. I loved that Vicky was able to come back and blow up the whole town. That was very fun and interesting. But I think that they did a really good job ending the show. And I know I've heard so many people talk about how they just cry at the end so much. So I'm gonna go with that one.
I think season 2. Just as a whole, Caroline transforming into a vampire was very fun, and yeah.
You said season 2? I like season 2 as well. Season 2, I think, really started Tyler's journey. There's a lot more happening for him than in season 1, so probably that one. And it would for sure have to be that first werewolf transformation that happened during the scene. So probably that for me was my favorite one.
Question all the way in the back.
Hi, so I was wondering, what or who inspired you to start acting?
That was one of my questions.
I always loved Julia Roberts growing up. She's like one of my favorites, still is. So I think watching her movies growing up, I thought like, oh, that seems like such a fun job. And living in LA, it did seem quite easy. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised, so luckily I was able to just kind of fall into it and stay there, which was great. But I'm a huge fan of her.
I had originally moved to LA for music, funny enough, in a past life, and at the time I was around 16, and a lot of the people I met who were my age happened to be young actors in LA, and they were on TV shows. So my first experience on a set was just going to visit friends that I had met, and I knew that there was something so special about that, like the family that is created on a TV set or a movie set. And a few years later, I found myself auditioning and working, and I just fell in love. So it kind of, I got bitten by the bug a little bit later, and then I just couldn't quit. Maybe now, but no. Who inspired you? Who inspired you?
Who inspired me to get into the business?
So the people that I met, that I visited on set, inspired me.
God.
That's my full.
Oh, well then it's similar to Kayla, because I also grew up in Los Angeles. I think I always I grew up going to the movies with my dad almost every weekend, and we'd see like 2 or 3 movies. And I was always wondering, like as a young kid, like where are they making these movies or these television shows? And growing up in LA, it was like, oh, it's just right over there. So for me, in the same way, it felt attainable. It felt like, oh, it's right there, it's nearby. If I could just find a way to get in there some way, somehow, I could maybe do what I'm seeing and enjoying on the screen. And so it just felt like it could become more of a reality growing up in Los Angeles. So I think that's kind of what started my interest in it. But it wasn't a specific actor or actress at the time. I think knowing I was just close to how they were doing it, where they were doing it, I was like, I gotta find a way to make that happen for me.
Got a question in the back, thank you.
Hi. So my question is mostly for Michael and Candice. I was wondering, was there any point in the earlier seasons that you thought your character was going to be written off for good? And for Kayla, did you think there was any chance you were going to come back?
In the earlier seasons, no. Look, I'll be honest, there were a couple of times where I may have gotten in trouble at work. And so I thought maybe that was going to be a reason why I was maybe going to get written off out of nowhere.
What'd you do?
Oh, we're not going to talk about that. But luckily I kind of stayed on as long as I did. So that would be the only thing. It wasn't even storyline wise. I was just going through a little something. So I thought, oh man, I might be written off here. But luckily I stayed.
Yeah, I was told many times that I was the greenest of the bunch, which means that when you're in a room with someone and they're telling you, hey, we're very aware that you're the least experienced one out of everyone here. it makes you go, uh-oh, oops, my imposter syndrome is really showing now. And when they decided to turn Caroline into a vampire, that was basically every female that they had turned into a vampire, they had killed off the show. And others as well. So it was very scary, and they were, you know, open about the fact we're gonna see how this goes. And then Caroline started eating bunnies and being this little like sunshine to Stefan's like shadow, and I think it kind of, I don't know. But I held my breath for. I never bought a place in Atlanta. Let's just put it that way. My parents always told me, "Honey, you will be killed off at any moment, so don't invest." And I was like, "Got it. I'm just gonna hold my breath for 8 years." I just sighed for the first time.
The question is, did I ever think my character would come back? Originally, when they killed me, no, of course not. They were like, "Bye, see you," and I was so sad. And then obviously every time they called, they'd bringing me back, bringing me back, bringing me back. And it was so fun. And I felt so lucky because I was able to be in LA and do my thing and then come back to Atlanta, see all my friends, work on the show, have some fun, go back and forth, back and forth. So originally, no. And then obviously the more it kept happening, yes.
Great question. We have time for probably 2 more questions. Got one in the back here.
If you could pick Stefan or Damon, who would you pick?
Damon.
Damon.
Say it in unison.
Stefan.
Stefan.
I have to.
Stefan.
And Caroline would.
Yeah.
Definitely Damon.
Stefan. Who's Stefan?
I'm wondering, what was your favourite location or set that you filmed in?
I would say Covington, just Covington, the Covington Square with the clock tower, and now the restaurant that's turned into Mystic Falls. It's so lovely, and I remember the first time we did it, Vicky's hanging off of a building with Stefan and Damon, and I remember looking down at night and being like, this is truly such a beautiful place. And now obviously it's turned into a Vampire Diaries, you know, I don't know, in memoriam. And it's so lovely that you can visit it, but that for me was the most fun.
Evander Holyfield's house. And I don't know if, for anyone that knows, I mean, there was wrestling. This was boxing, so this is different. But he's a very famous athlete in the States.
Got his ear chewed off.
He got his ear chewed off by Mike Tyson, and we were in the group. Yeah, we filmed a whole bunch in that house. It was just very interesting. On Evander Holyfield Way.
Now Rick Ross owns that house.
Really?
Oh, it looks nice. Oh, it's really nice.
We used the ballroom.
He put some money into it.
Just to give you guys an idea,
Rick
like
Ross the house.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But we used like he just had a ballroom, not like a pool house, but an actual like ballroom.
Yeah, bowling alley. He had a bowling alley in there too.
What was your favorite?
Probably Covington. I think Covington was really nice because I think early on when the show started, we were out in Atlanta, Georgia, so we weren't in a major coastal city. And I think whenever we were out in Covington, fans would be there. Fans would be around and wanting to see, and that was such an interesting feeling to be filming the show and then having fans on set or nearby. And it was cool to get that instant feedback of oh, local people are into the show. That's awesome. So I'd have to say Covington.
Our final question is right here on the left.
If you weren't actors, who would you be?
Mine's changed over time. I always thought I'd be a lawyer, and then now it's gonna be bad, I know, but I'm these YouTube kids are making all kinds of money, and I don't poo-poo it anymore. Should have been a YouTuber.
Yep. TikTok influencer.
TikTok.
With a water bottle.
Sign me up.
And a lip gloss.
I grew up really close to the ocean and surfed all my life growing up. And so I really wanted to be a marine biologist when I was young. And I've always loved ocean and ocean conservation. So if I wasn't an actor or going into that field, I would have absolutely gone in that direction.
But there's still time. You could still be a marine biologist. You could still make it on YouTube. You know?
Yeah, I might start a channel. You know what?
Would we
I might
subscribe to a YouTube channel?
I'd watch it.
There you go.
Would you smash that like button?
They do say that, smash that like button. Well, you guys, you've been so amazing, and I know that this means so much to our fans here that you took the time for us today, but we'll go down the line. Any final words and anything you want to promote that you're doing, any upcoming projects?
Oh goodness, I have to say that I just thanks everybody for coming out here and celebrating us and being here for everybody else too that is from different television shows, and just thankful, grateful to be here, to see you all, and for all of us to still be hanging out.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. This was so much fun. Come say hello if you haven't already. We're all at the signing booths hanging out, and can't wait to do this again tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it is really fun to see you guys, so please come up and say hi, because it's just so nice to meet you face to face, and thanks for coming to the Q&A. Clearly there was such a great turnout. We love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.